Good afternoon to one and all. I've just been out of the room, but I'm back in again. So not much has changed since our last update. Hey, buddy, how you doing there?
Let me do that with the microphone open. G'day, mate. I'm going well. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad at all, mate. Not too bad at all. We just had a tea and hot sauce show with Orlando, which I think I'm now
Oh, did
doing
you?
with him. Yeah,
How's he doing? How's he doing,
yeah,
Big O?
he's doing pretty well. He's got a nice long on the Nasdaq, so he's pretty happy at the minute about that. I'm looking for a short in the FTSE. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the charts. I've got a couple of things to talk to you about as a man being on the side of the world that I'm currently interested in, which is about the Kiwi actually. But
Ooh, next question. It's a tough one,
oh
isn't it? Kiwi.
yeah, well, I'll show you what it is with the Kiwi in a moment. But the FTSE I'm looking to go short on. I'm just waiting for this bar to close probably. So I'd quite like this to not get back above by the top of the hour. It may well go before that actually, but I would toy with taking it at the pivot. You know, it's
So
one of those that
you're out of the longs?
no, I'm not out of the longs, man. I'm
Still in,
keeping
right? Yep.
yeah, I'm going to keep my longs because it's more of a hedge play really. I still think the FTSE's got further to run. I did this some analysis on this in the previous show, but just so you know what I'm looking at, and I won't take the same amount of time unless there's different people in the room, which I don't know if there is. Was anybody not in the last thing with Orlando? If you're not, I'll go through it again and show you exactly what I'm looking at. SFIC. Was anybody not in that? Everybody got my opinion on the FTSE?
So what are you saying? Go again?
Go again. Okay. All right. We'll go again. So what my analysis on the FTSE is that it needs a pullback. It's had a long way to go. Hey LT, it's had a long way up, and I'm looking for pullbacks in the FTSE. But the question is, as always, is do you trade the long? Do you trade the short to go long or whatever else? Now I can trade a short because I've got a long in the market already. So what I'm looking for the FTSE to do, first I'm drawing this trend line. So I've just taken the very highest point and I'm just going through the next points and it's just coming right the way down. Now, I want confluence when I'm looking for trades. Where's the most likely point that it's going to bounce? Not the most likely point it will come back to. Hey Lewis, because I don't know if it's going to come back at all. And we looked at this earlier on, and I was saying that where we are right now is actually an area of potential resistance, but it may end up being a point of support. Now I'm unconvinced about that. I think that this area here is much more likely to be a resistance point than a support point. And we were looking on this, and you can see that there was a bounce earlier on in the day. We tested this and we had a little bounce earlier in the day, but I think we go through this level, and if we do, I think there's a decent chance we come down, possibly even to here, 61.15. So what I'd quite like to do is get a short on in the market, and I'm looking for this trend line here, which has now been broken, and it may be a bit lower. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, it's probably there actually. So that one looks like it could hold it in. So actually, we looks like we're looking to break this lower line and the horizontal low as well, and which will also be significant because that horizontal low on the weekly chart is currently supports, but it could well become resistance. If we get under that line, I think we're probably going to go down maybe a fair bit, but we'll see. Now, the reason that I've picked out the reason I'd like to go short to go long, if you like, or that the hedge up here is in my opinion quite wise, but I'd like to stay with the FTSE because I think I'm in all the way down here, and I still think there's plenty of room to the upside. So rather than close the position, I can just hedge it off, and anything that is lost on this one will be made on the way down. And then it's trying to figure out where it's coming to. The trend line starts me off. Then I'm going to go with some horizontal levels. I've got this one. The next one down looks to me like it's somewhere around here. That looks like a support point before, and it looks like it was resistance here. So somewhere around there, and you can see that this bar has also reacted there. So 6,100, which is around about 3 and a bit % lower than where we are now. So 6,100 would be a potential. And then the one below that is this point here. So I put it at 60.50, I believe. Now we'll talk about why it's 60.50 as well. So there are bounce points here, scruffy, but you can see that there's bounce points here. So it's somewhere, one of these two is my favorite option. I don't think this one would hold up. I don't think there's enough there. It may bounce there, but I don't think it's the turning point. So I'm looking for it to turn a lot lower than it is now. What's going to drag it down there? I don't know. But I think we could get a little bit of selling pressure just because we got so many speakers out today. I think IMF, Christine Lagarde, we got Jerome Powell, and we got Bailey all out at the same time at 4:45 UK, and it's currently 122. So I think we probably sell into that particular announcement, and we'll see what they say. If they say there's more stimulus, we're probably going higher. If they say they're watching the pandemic and they're really pleased with the fact that we've got this coronavirus vaccine, which means that we can possibly start easing back on the stimulus, we go lower. So that is that, you know, it's also likely that they say neither of those things. But you know, we're looking for one of those extremes to define the direction for the next big move, and it might not be today. So I'm looking down here now. Let's pull up the fib. There's the fib. Now the fib starts at 23.6. The next one is down here at 38.6. So I can remove this line now because it doesn't give me confluence. This level does. That level is going to give me some confluence, and it might not be that high. It might be a little bit lower, but somewhere in this area is where I'm looking, between 60 probably 6,000 and 6,050 is where I'm looking for the short, looking for the long, looking for the bounce point. Can I trade it short into that area? Probably not, but I'm gonna try. And the way to try is by getting in the short here somewhere, trading it down to a point that looks attractive. Maybe it's the fib, maybe it's this lower line here, and taking half off the trade and letting the rest run. It's likely to come and stop the second half out because it's been so bullish, but we've got to give it a go to see if we can get another half on for free. Now, what I want to see, because you know it's unlikely that we do that today. It's not even likely that we do that in a week. The rest of the week come to that point, long way down. So what I want to do is now anticipate that as my buy level, my overall buy level, and see if I can get this. See if I can get the step into my buy zone. And if that happens, that makes this area really strong. Now that suggests, you know, the way I've done the step, it's suggesting it's going to take a couple of weeks, but this isn't going to step like this. This is going to step a lot higher up. I don't know where it's going to end because we don't know where the close is. But if we were to take the high low for right now, and we'll do this calculation really quick. Have you got anything pending, Geoff?
No, mate. I've got a whole bunch of stuff, but nothing okay. is urgent.
I will be really quick on this last bit. 5-4. Let's call it 70. We'll measure it out completely there. My clock's covering this one. Looks like 5,390. This is the to date point. So 6,390. And that, which I'm going to use a calculator. I'm sure you can do that, Geoff.
Use the calculator?
No, no, give the answer.
So what was the question?
5,470 plus 6,390.
5,470 plus 6,390.
Yeah.
Oh my godfathers. That's yeah,
11 8
11
60.
8 something. Yeah.
Yeah, 11 at 860.
I was getting there.
You were. And we're going to divide that by 2. And that gives me 5 9
5 9 30.
30. Well done, mate. You're almost as quick as the calculator. 5 9 30.
And I'm half asleep.
But we don't know where the closing price is. Now the closing price is likely to be up here, so that's probably going to boost it up a little bit. So let's call it 6,000, which gets us very close to this level actually. So it looks like next week we are likely to have a trade to the upside with the FTSE, an area to trade from, I should say. That we'll have a decent area to trade from with the FTSE. So I will leave it there, and just so everybody understands my analysis and why I'm looking for that particular point. But somewhere between 6,000 6,050 looks like the sweet spot to me right now, mate.
Right, mate. Happy days. I've got, as I said, a whole bunch of stuff to look at. We'll catch up with first up, I guess, what I am in and what I have fallen on my sword on. We'll start with that one, hey? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, got your screen, mate.
Okay, cool. I'll do it again anyway. I better start with the obvious, and goodness me, if I raise it from my memory, no, I haven't. Pound Kiwi. I sent you a message. I think it was last. I think it might have been Monday. Can't remember now. Might have been a week ago, actually. Last Friday morning, maybe. And we were talking about Pound Kiwi, and I recall that we were looking for, when was it? It was last. We were looking in here, looking to trade this long. And you found a little intraday one, a little 30-minute, I think, or 15-minute, and got your TP1. I don't know what happened after that, but I got taken in the very next day, or was it even the day after? Might have been.
Yeah, no, I remember that one, mate. Yeah, I got my take profit one and then got stopped out on the second half. Break even. So there was a bit of profit in the first trade.
Right. Well, I got taken in on this emotive bar, I'll call it that, and that was it, Gornsky. And I since tried again and failed again. So I'm not having a really good time on Pound Kiwi at the moment, but I do note that we're back at the very same level that I'm trying to trade off. So I haven't given up on it. The last one was a very small one and was due mainly to the Kiwi news that was the interest rate announcement and RBNZ statement on Tuesday, yep. Or was it Wednesday? I can't remember. That was yesterday, right? So it must have been yesterday, Wednesday. So we're hapless there at the moment. We're just waiting for a bounce off here, and we'll have to have a higher low before we get back into that. So that one's hasn't been friendly, but the other side of that, of course, the market giveth and the market taketh away, or the market gaveth with the Aussie US dollar, and that's more than made up for the Pound Kiwi. I'm very happy to say. Question mark with this one now is what next? And you've got to be expecting consolidation or pullback. And of course, that's what we're getting, consolidation at the moment. If that's as bad as it gets, then happy days. We'll continue on with this and the long will remain intact. And I think this has got a reasonable chance of going a fair distance, maybe up to this trend line in the first instance. And I know I've got a heap of trend lines here, but that's what I'm kind of thinking. But there is a strong confluence area here with trade line, horizontal level, previous high here as well. So it is going to be tough to get through here. We might just go into that consolidation period for a while before we do get through it. But I'm still a bull, the Aussie. Whether I'm happy to scale into it at the moment is questionable because we are approaching that resistance level, but I'm happy to stay in the trade as long as the market allows me so to do. The only other trade I am currently in is the one I got in about 2-3 hours ago. Was it that? Yes, something like that. Where we traded this break and retest of the trend line, or trade line rather. A little bit dicey, this one, because we had an untested daily pivot, but you could see the momentum starting to shift, and that there was an indication to me that we weren't going to test the daily pivot. Instead, we came back below the well, I won't call it a left shoulder, but I will call it a former resistance level. And of course, that's been retested since with that bar, which is why I took the trade short. Nothing spectacular here at the moment, but I do see the weekly pivot down here, which is untested, and that would probably be my target area on pound US dollar. Got a couple of orders in the market as well. Dollar Swissy is one. Now, dollar Swissy, I placed this order 2 days ago, and it was trading this bar here. I've since replaced that order. The reason being that we didn't have a close above where my stop loss is. Yes, we spiked above it, and we had a retest, or another test, if you like, of the descending trade line, which is probably a trend line as well. So I still think this has got a strong chance to go short. Monthly pivot's holding it up at the moment, but I think if the monthly pivot gives way, then we've got reason to think that we will come back and test these lower levels. Weekly pivot, bottom of the range, maybe even the lows. We'll see. So I'm leaving that one there, but I do expect there'll be a better way to get into that at some stage. I'm not sure how that pans out, but this was one of them that I've been stalking, I suppose, in the last 24 hours or so, and we were looking for this to come back underneath here and give us a retest. Well, it's kind of done that, or it's kind of doing that at the moment. And if this candle was to close in this vicinity, then I may well place an order short underneath that bar with the stop loss either here or here. We'll make a call on that when the time comes. That's dollar Swiss. Aussie yen. Aussie yen was the other one. Now I have got a buy order in place here, and it's trading this bar here. That may well have lost its appeal to me at the moment because we've come down a little bit, but we haven't taken out these double hits on that level there, which is what, 76.30, let's say, and 2 days ago it was the daily pivot as well. So I'm expecting that may well bounce. So I'm going to keep that order in place. I've got my TP1 just below the daily pivot, and if we were to get that momentum going in that direction, then we'll probably test these highs. Now, that said, there is a clear double top sitting here as well. I know it's only a 30-minute chart, but it is a clear double top, and this may well be a second lower high. And of course, we're now getting lower lows and lower highs as well, apart from where we are currently. So that could be the turnaround point if it is to go long. If not, then I would suggest the momentum to the downside will continue short. I've also got a watch list that includes Euro Yen, which I've got somewhere around about here. Euro Yen, there we go. Also looking for a false break of this trade line. We have come back inside the range, as you can clearly see. I did trade this bar last night not last night, the night before. I've lost time. That's right, I had a day off yesterday, didn't I? That's why I can't remember. And didn't get too far. Got a TP1, and that was the end of the story. We're looking for something similar. And the best case scenario, of course, is going to be a false break of this resistance trade line. That's the 4-hour chart I'm looking at. Of course, there will be perhaps an opportunity closer to the mark, and there it is there. We've got a nice little trade line sitting here. We've got a break of that, and this candle is crucial, of course. And if in 25 minutes that closes as a bullish decisive bar, you will see me place an order underneath it. A little bit dicey, given that we're trading straight into this low of the previous bar, And of course, the daily pivot has been broken and retested. So that may well go on with the job and go long. If that's the case, and we do, and that's why we're looking for a bullish decisive bar. If we get that, then the chances are it'll just keep going and we won't be taken into the trade. So that's why I'm okay with that. I'm not super keen, but it does look like a setup to me, and we will look to trade that. And after all, we are back inside the range, and when we get that opportunity to trade short, that's exactly what we shall do. 2 to go. Euro dollar. Euro dollar looks pretty much similar, does it not? I couldn't get this to line up on any chart really, but we're now looking at a double cross of the weekly pivot, and that interests me. And it also suggests that we've got a fake out here, and that also interests me. So I will be looking at this candle, and if it does close as a bullish decisive bar, and we do have what will probably look like a train track reversal to most of you, then I will look to trade that short, taking profit just before the monthly pivot, and then seeing if we can break short. After all, we've been looking for this one for quite some time. With a bit of a head and shoulders pattern, we've got a break of a neckline, retest, 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 gone a little bit higher on each occasion. But I think this can go short. The US dollar, of course, is a story, and that story is yet to have a conclusion. Of course, well, nothing has, nothing ever will, because it just keeps going. But the story, of course, is all around the US election. Well, not all around the US election. I suppose we've got to throw the vaccine into that equation as well. But the US dollar has been rallying, perhaps on the back of the clarity. There's clarity around the US election, really? I don't think so, but at least they have a clear winner on paper. I'll put it that way. So, yeah, the dollar's been having a little bit of a rally on the back of that. I don't know if that's sustainable, to be honest. And if we have a look at that chart, that's kind of what it looks like. That's the dollar index I'm looking at, pardon me, which is showing pretty much a clear false break of that support trade line. And now it's come back and retested that again, not for the first time. So maybe this does have some upside to it. And if that's the case, it may well go up to, this area here. I don't see why that would happen, but again, maybe it's just the fact that there is now, well, how can you say no doubt over the US election? You can't. But it's out of the road. The voting part's out of the road. What comes next is anybody's guess, but it looks like it'll be a court appearance for the Trump administration at the very least. Keep your fingers crossed and whatever. I don't know how that even pans out, but and to me that's kind of the theme that I'm working on. I'm working on the fact that there is still uncertainty surrounding the US election. I don't know.
It's a strange one, isn't it, mate? Because Biden's starting to behave like there's no uncertainty, which he's right to do, but it's Donald Trump that's kind of providing it. But he's been quite quiet. I think really what's happening is he's just drawing a dead end. Everywhere he's trying to sort of say, right, have I got an avenue here? No. Okay. What about there? No. So even though he's digging his heels in, I suppose everybody's just saying, well, you've got no case. I mean, even the sort of the statement he came out with that Pfizer withheld the vaccine information until after the election, which I wouldn't be surprised if they did. And I think we probably all thought that he probably would say that. But he can't prove it, and there's and even if
he did, yeah, is that a case for dismissing the election? I wouldn't have thought so.
No, and it's a bit like Brexit. We had all this with Brexit, where the Remainers contested it, but ultimately the people voted, and that result will stand. And exactly what will happen in America will stand. And I think people are brushing it off, and maybe they'll brush it off until Donald Trump has got a genuine case. If he's got a genuine case to be made, then they probably, we probably can, be relatively quiet about ignoring it.
Yeah, I think the market's trading as though it doesn't exist. I mean,
Yeah,
look, we do have a president elect, which is completely understandable. But
yeah.
you can't underestimate him. You really
No, I
can't.
agree. I agree, and he's still got 2 months to really kind of tear things
Mm.
up a little bit. 2 and a bit months actually, and we know Donald Trump can do a lot of damage in that time. Interesting story actually. Uh, Twitter may be one of the biggest sufferers of Donald Trump leaving office.
Well, absolutely, and you only have to go back a few months ago, and they were threatening to ban him from Twitter.
Yeah,
And so, are you serious? Is your best customer? Why would you
yeah,
do that?
yeah, yeah. He's the best marketer, isn't he,
Mm.
for Twitter? And then yeah, and no doubt he would continue. But maybe the fact that they said they were going to ban him drew more people in to read what he was saying. So it might have been a genius move by them in a way.
Yeah, but if he's leaving, sorry, if he loses, isn't he? He's going to go to the UK, isn't he? Run the UK, isn't that the idea?
Well,
Or is it
Farage
Russia?
is. Don't know. Farage is starting a new rebranding the Brexit Party, and he's quite pally with Donald Trump. So Donald Trump might come over here, but I don't think he'd find a lot of love here.
He'd be consultant to Boris or Nigel
Yeah, I mean, to be
Farage.
honest, mate, do you know? And this is the thing. I mean, I say I don't think he'd find a lot of love here, but the UK public have surprised me quite a lot with the way that Brexit's been handled. Brexit was passed, so I suppose nothing is out of the question, is it? No, you just don't know. You can never really know what the majority think. Only what your inner circle, and the way you live believe. But I don't really know what's going on in the north of England. So who knows? Maybe Donald Trump does come over and get a job. Dominic Cummings might be on his way out, and um, he is Boris Johnson's most important minister and most important advisor, and he might be on his way out. So there might be a job. There might
There you
well be a
go.
job that ready made for Donald Trump, ready baked.
It's interesting to listen to the commentary around it. Not that it hasn't been interesting all the way through, because it's just been the most incredible part of history. I think what follows next is just going to be just as entertaining, in my humble opinion.
Yeah,
Whether
yeah.
he doesn't go, whether he does go, is he going to make a fortress of the White House? Is he going to blow it up? All things are possible. And
Yeah.
look, I was saying 4 years ago, or even beyond 4 years ago, that I don't think he will survive without being assassinated. I think that's probably off the table at the moment.
I think you're
But it
probably right, mate.
surprises it surprises me that he's still alive, and that's how, I don't know. That's how he dodges bullets, I suppose, like none other.
Yeah, yeah, he does. But I think he allied himself with the right people. He allied himself with North Korea in many respects, and probably behind the scenes, maybe he was allied with Russia, and so he took out some of the threats.
Well, yeah, did he? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I really don't. You've got to, isn't it? So you've got to be close to your friends, but closer to your enemies. That's
that's right.
pretty much the saying.
That's
Yeah.
what they say. That's what they say.
Yep. Last one, pound CAD. I'm looking for a lower high, then I'm going to trade it short. So that's me, mate.
All right, fantastic. All right, well, let's wrap it up, mate. We got the live US show starting right now. I've got my tune ready to go, and
Mm-hmm.
in that case, I'm going to need to share my chart just so I can get the share my screen, I should say, just so I can get the tune up and running. I need to do that. I need to do that, and I need to do that, and I need to do that. Okay, so thanks, guys. Thanks for popping in. We will see you next week. Have a lovely weekend, whatever you are doing. Enjoy the rest of your day. Looks quite quiet at the minute. I'm not expecting a big move, but yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend, and stay safe.
Bye, guys. Have a good weekend.